The most effective success mindset. There appears to be a psychological characteristic that all successful people share. Bill Gates has signed it, and NASA utilizes it as a selection factor for future systems engineers. Carol Dweck coined the phrase growth mindset to describe this concept. People who have a growth mindset believe that intelligence or skill may be developed through effort in any profession. They basically believe that everybody may develop their abilities in any field. The fixed mindset is the polar opposite of the growth mindset. People who hold this viewpoint believe that intelligence and talent are innate. We are born with them. There is no room for improvement. We are either born gifted or not. They basically believe that intellect is predestined from birth. In this video, we'll look at why the growth mindset is superior and how to cultivate it. So, we talked about the growth mindset, which is the concept that intelligence and skill can be developed in any field. But first, let's talk about what it isn't. It's not a miracle. It will not help you achieve your goals in life or turn you into the next Elon Musk or Steve Jobs. It is, nevertheless, a very potent lens through which to view the world, and it can increase your chances of success. We are all a combination of growth and fixed beliefs. We function with a growth mindset in some parts of our lives. We work with a fixed mindset in others. As a result, I want you to consider both mindsets as a pair of glasses. Some people choose to wear growth glasses, while others prefer to wear fixed glasses. We all wear both in different settings throughout our lives. However, we should all make an effort to wear the growing ones far more than the fixed ones. But why? According to a lot of studies, those who have a growth mindset are more successful than those who have a fixed perspective. According to one study, students with a growth mindset were 3 times more likely to score in the top 20% on the test, while students with a fixed mindset were 4 times more likely to score in the bottom 20%. Another study found that 7th graders who participated in a growth mindset program were able to avoid the grade drop that occurs in middle school. People that have a growth mindset are far more resilient, allowing them to overcome unfavorable conditions. They are not scared to take risks since they value learning over failure. They value progress over stagnation. People with a fixed mindset, on the other hand, are unwilling to challenge themselves because they feel talent and intelligence are fixed. They consider failure to be an attack on their identity. To them, ignorance is a sign of incompetence, and failure once implies failure forever. Because a person with a growth mindset feels that they are continually in flux and transition, they do not identify themselves with their outcomes. Rather, they concentrate on the process of learning and growing. Few will deny that the growth mindset appears to correspond to reality. Thanks to the field of neuroscience, we now know that the brain can continue to learn until the day we die. It also appears logical that in order to succeed, people must work hard and persevere in the face of adversity. As a result, it appears that the growth mindset is a lot more accurate representation of reality than the fixed perspective. They can make more accurate judgments, whereas someone with a fixed perspective is more deluded. What exactly do I mean? Consider 2 business owners, one with a growth mindset and the other with a fixed mindset. They are both in the start of their entrepreneurial careers. They are both forced to make a decision when they come across a roadblock. Because of the obstacle, the person with a fixed mindset sees a long and painful route ahead of her. The road is getting in the way of what she cares about, the outcome. She feels that individuals who are destined for entrepreneurship should find it easy. She makes the decision to leave. The person with a growth mindset smiles as she considers the long and difficult trip ahead of her. For her, the journey is the path. The journey is what counts. She takes the long and difficult route as her teacher, taking the role of a student. She'll let it shape her into the person she needs to be in order to get the results she wants. She decides to keep going. When we consider both of these scenarios, we can all agree that the entrepreneur with a growth mindset has a better grasp of reality. Her decision is more accurate. We all know that success takes time, effort, and strategy, but putting that thinking into reality can be challenging. So, how can we cultivate a growth mindset? The first step toward developing a growth mindset is to recognize that it exists and it is possible for the brain to change. Our brains are not fixed, according to neuroscience, and are extremely changeable. We can always gain new skills and progress. Taxicab drivers, for example, develop more gray matter in their brains to help them navigate more successfully in major cities, according to our research. They also discovered that the quantity of gray matter in their brains was proportional to how long they have worked as a taxi driver. This shows that driving a cab triggered changes in their brains, allowing them to be more productive at work. The second element is to prioritize process above outcome. Dweck believes that rather than praising others for their outcomes, we should applaud them for their efforts and processes. You studied very extensively for the test, and your hard work truly paid off. For example, is preferable to, "You're so smart, you earned an A." In the first case, we're focusing on and praising the student's behavior, which they have influence over. Hopefully, they'll learn to identify the procedure with themselves and their outcomes. In the latter case, however, we commended the student for an outcome that was ultimately beyond their control. Unfortunately, this student will most likely begin to identify with the outcome. It's critical, in my opinion, to underline that instilling a growth mentality in others is difficult. It's not as simple as telling someone that they're a hard worker who only has to work harder. They must understand that changing their process can affect their results. As a result, they must be able to effectively build, modify, and produce results from a process. Keeping a journal is the approach to this. Choose an activity in which you desire to excel. Consider the case when I want to improve my math skills. I'd keep a journal in which I'd record my math study methods. I'd make a list of the steps and assign a numerical value to as many of them as possible. For example, my routine might include reviewing my notes once a day, doing 10 practice problems daily, reading the textbook for 60 minutes daily, and meeting my professor once a week. So everything has been assessed and my approach has been solidified. Now I need to specify a desired outcome. I need a target to shoot for. Let's pretend I'm aiming for an 80% or higher on my next exam. When I obtain my exam results, I compare them to my target. If it's higher, I'm confident that my strategy is working. But I can always go back and change things to see if I can improve. I could also strive to enhance it. Perhaps I should spend less time reading the material and more time practicing problems. If my grade is lower, I will have to go back and refine my method. This strategy of maintaining a record, developing a process, and improving it until the intended result is reached, I feel will aid in the development of a growth mindset. It keeps our attention in a dynamic process. Only as an indicator of how effectively our technique works are the results measured and analyzed. The approach either works or doesn't, but it says nothing about the individual. The method is always adjustable. It's not that it doesn't work. It just hasn't been seen to work yet. Another excellent strategy, in my opinion, is to seek advice from peers and instructors. Look for people who are in the same boat as you or who have already accomplished what you're attempting. Inquire about their course of action and compare it to your own. You could uncover something they do or have done that you want to incorporate into your own practice. Read biographies of people you admire. Look for details about their method that you can use to improve your own. Finally, take on challenging tasks. You must move outside of your comfort zone to even have a chance at cultivating the growth mindset. People who do not venture outside of their comfort zones continue to assume that their success is due to intrinsic talent since everything comes so easily to them. A student who is never pushed in school, for example, may develop the belief that they are naturally intelligent. They can remark, "I get A's, thus I'm smart." They don't even think about the process because the result comes so easily to them. Unfortunately, they only see the outcome and become connected to it. When they undoubtedly receive a poor remark, they will believe that they are stupid. They lose faith in themselves because they did not receive the results they were expecting so effortlessly. Going outside of your comfort zone, on the other hand, compels you to adopt a growth mindset in order to avoid crumbling under the weight of adversity. Because you can't reasonably attain the desired result with your current method, you must focus on and alter the process. That is, by definition, what it is to leave your comfort zone. So now you know what the growth mindset is, why it's important, and how to cultivate it. Remember that development requires time and effort, and that avoiding the fixed mindset will always be a struggle. People will suggest things or events will transpire that will cause us to embrace a fixed mindset. It's critical to recognize when this occurs and strive to avoid becoming stuck in place. The path to a growth mindset is a lifelong journey, not a proclamation, says Carol Dweck. There you have it, guys. I hope you learned something from today's video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.